Alrighty, guys, very special episode for you today. I've got my very, very good friend James on. So, James, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me, bro.
So, guys, to give you a bit of backstory, like in my videos and my podcast, I want you guys to have some access and availability to people who have changed my life. And James has probably had one of the most profound effects on my life since we've probably worked together about 18 months now. And the way that he's helped me change my philosophies on life, the way that I look at myself, the way that I act every day. He's truly been like a father figure to me. It's been quite crazy. He helped me through my gym sales, which was pretty crazy. And I just wanted to have him on the episode today to talk a little bit about values, integrity, and like who you look at yourself in the mirror as every day, because he said something really profound to me that as long as you can look at yourself every day in the mirror and be really proud and know that you're going in the right direction, then, you know, it's definitely helped with my anxiety. There was times where I battled really bad depression. I was also just doing some dumb shit, to be pretty fair. So, mate, James, thank you for coming on. Mate, do you want to give everyone maybe just like a 30, 60-second background about you, your amazing journey? Because I think it's quite inspirational, everything you've done so far.
Oh, thanks, man. 30, 60-second background. All right, so I'll go really top level. So I've done a lot of weird shit in my time. So I started off, geez, it really stems all the way back at school, right? I went to boarding school, played a lot of footy, thought I was pretty good at the time, did both of my knees, and then I decided, all right, well, I'm probably not going to make a career out of this anymore. And then got into bodybuilding, studying at university, wanted to be a doctor. You know, that whole thing that when you're 18 years of age, everyone says you should be a doctor, a lawyer, accountant, or something stupid like that. Not that those things are stupid, but telling everyone to do that, that's what they must do. That's stupid. So I was going down that whole path, like very much the standard private school boy goes to uni and then goes to get a job for the rest of his life. But then I started picking up bodybuilding as well. Ended up doing okay with bodybuilding, turned pro, competed all over the world, did all that sort of stuff. And then realized that I didn't want to be a doctor when I went to a doctor's appointment with one of my guys, and she hated me being there because I was his coach. And so she, just to scare him, told him that he might have a pituitary tumor. That was for a bloke who was obese, had anxiety, had depression, had low testosterone, all that. And she just freaked the fuck out of him. And when I saw her do that, I was like, I'm not going to be like any of you pricks because you're all a bunch of C words. I just got the C word on your podcast.
Mate,
but then I started going, I can go nuts. Well, she was a cunt. So then I ended up going off my own way and then started doing my own things, started running my business. I was a pro, so I had a pro in bodybuilding, so I had a heap of people wanting to work with me, and then that started building. Then I went through my own shit, pushed myself through anxiety, through depression, through bipolar, through IBS, had a heap of gnarly stuff going on. And I found out through that there was fuck all like around support for me that actually worked. I saw shrinks, I saw specialists, I saw a whole heap of different people. And there was one dude that helped me and one dude only. And unfortunately, he's passed away now. But there was pretty much out of all the specialists and out of the tens of thousands of dollars that I spent, there was one person that helped me. The rest of them did absolutely bugger all. And so I thought, okay, well, I've probably got to start helping more dudes with this sort of stuff. And that's where it led me down my own path of figuring out my own shit. And the reason I got pretty good at this is because I was super fucked up and I had like all of my stuff that I had to overcome, and going through and learning that and really not having many figures to guide me along the way who I could actually learn from. And that's where I ended up working with awesome people like you and helping you hopefully crush life.
Yeah. And so guys, probably one of the biggest things James helped me with. So I got diagnosed with bipolar maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And I was on some pretty gnarly medications. I'm not sure if you remember at the time, James, I was taking 3 different types of medications. Yeah. And slowly we got off those. And it was quite simply, it was like when I was kind of explaining, you know, the things, what I was happy with, what I was doing in my life, it's like, no wonder you're going so up and down. Like, you know, so then James was able to, you know, get me off those medications slowly. Where I was a much happier person, I was a lot more stable because we worked on like a high level values, integrity kind of stuff. And James, mate, your fitness program is so unique. Like it's so different to all the cookie cutter bullshit online programs out there. And why are you so big on values, integrity, and you help a lot of, you know, people around the world get control of their anxiety and their stress and things like that?
So it's actually really logical. I believe that every single thing in life is logical and rational. It is. It always works that way. And so here's how we started. We started off working with people for fat loss, right? Helping them to try and lose fat, gain muscle, that sort of stuff, a fair bit of bodybuilding things. And then I started looking at them and looking at the difference between people who are successful and who weren't. And the further, and I won't give you the whole path, but the further and further down we got, we realized that the reason why some people are really hyper successful in certain areas of their life and others aren't comes down to how the mind's functioning and how well they're thinking and how their emotions are and how well they're acting and all that sort of stuff. If you have someone like with you, man, like with all your stuff, like you were always like super successful in business, but then on the health side, things like often were up and down. And then we went through and we went deeper and deeper into that. Shit out. Yeah. And then we found out why. And it was like, okay, because you've got all this internal shit. The reason why you're on all those medications, right? You had all this internal shit, which wasn't being looked at. There's no fucking wonder like you're not able to go through and crush life every single day because you've got all this pain inside you, which is causing you to act in certain ways out of pain. And so when we find that and we go through and we fix the root of the issue, that's when we actually get the solution. And then even going further to that, when someone wants to lose fat, why do they want to lose fat? They don't want to lose fat to lose fat. Nobody just wants to have abs. They want the feeling that's associated with having abs. However, the issue is, and I fucking found this one, you can be shredded and jacked and still fucking depressed and hate your life. Like just because you're rich, just because you got abs, just because you fuck heaps of chicks or fuck heaps of dudes or whatever you're into, it's like, just because you do that doesn't mean that you're going to be happy. The thing that we actually want to be is happy. And often we go the wrong ways about finding that happiness. And that happiness often comes when we actually become totally at peace and super comfortable with ourselves on the inside.
Yeah, and I remember we were chatting in Jan. And I said, well, kind of setting some goals. And I was like, I want to do this. I think I was like, I want to get down to 85 kilos. And you're like, because I'll be happy. And you're like, why aren't you happy now? And then I remember you stumped me for like literally like 2 minutes. And then you go, you need to meditate on it. And then I came back to you a week later and I was like, I'm actually the happiest I've ever been now. And you go, cool. Like you were on a progression. But you said something really profound. I think you go, mate, when you're 90, you're probably going to be shitting your own pants and in bed and someone's going to be looking after you. So you need to learn to love yourself and be happy no matter what your body looks like or how you feel. But we're on a progression to get somewhere that, we will make us essentially maybe a little bit happier, a little bit more fulfilled and things like that, which I thought was pretty profound. And mate, with the people you mainly work with and help, do you kind of start mainly on the mindset stuff, or is it with the training and nutrition first? How do you kind of help people, say if they're not happy with where they're at today, what would be kind of a baseline start?
Dude, it's such a difficult one to answer, but generally the answer is all the above. Like work on everything. Because if you just start, like for example, if we started working with each other and then I said, okay, we're not going to worry about training, nutrition, anything, we're just going to work on your head. You're like, fuck off, James. Like that's the last thing I want to do. Whereas if we go through it, we've got to make it so that whenever we're working with someone, they're fucking happy and they're enjoying the process. It's got to be fun. I mean, if you really wanted to just come and work on your head, you go to a psychologist and we know a lot of people hate going and seeing those people, right? And it's because it's painful and difficult. So we've got to make it so that it's fun, it's enjoyable, but we cover all the boxes, we tick them all. But really the most important thing is finding out what we actually want. Like if we use you as an example again, did you really want to get shredded and 85 kilos? Is that what you really wanted? Well, it's like, no, you wanted to feel happy. You wanted to feel confident. You want to feel good in your own skin. Okay, so is getting to 85 kilos the best way to do that? Is that actually going to make it happen? Yes or no? Because often we use the analogy of a summit. Every time you're out trying to achieve something, it's just like you're trying to climb a mountain and reach the summit. You're trying to climb your Everest every single day. The issue is that most people end up climbing other people's Everest and they get to the top and they're like, oh, this kind of sucks. I got all this money, but I don't have a partner, I don't have kids, or I don't have this, or I don't have that, or I'm fucking overweight, I'm unhealthy. And they've ended up climbing somebody else's mountain and climbing someone else's dream instead of doing it their own. So we find the person's dream, what you actually want to achieve for you, why you want to achieve it, and then get you the right path all the way up to the top while making sure that you keep all the things that are most important to you.
Yeah, 100%. And so James, you probably have one of the most powerful clientele lists in the world for online trainers. You work with some just incredible individuals, like all the guys at Sales Sniper are doing some crazy ass stuff. I won't go into the full list, but like he works with some serious killers in business. It's fucking crazy. Mate, with a lot of people watching this will be gym owners, boot camp, PT. We're wanting to grow their business and perform at their best, right? What are some of the things you would cover? Say if a gym owner's watching this, they want to perform at their best and do amazing things like so many of your clients come to you for. What are some of the things that you really need to cover with them and you need to make sure that you tick off so that they're a real high performing business owner, but they're also incredibly happy as well?
Congruence is the most important one. That's where the man in the mirror comes in, right? That's the biggest thing. A lot of, and we coach a fair few gym owners. And the funny thing is that they say, this is the most common thing, is like, I run a gym, I teach people how to be fit and how to get happy, but I don't do it myself. And if we're living a life like that, where we feel like we're living a lie, like, I don't know if you guys have ever done it. I fucking lived a life for years, trying to be someone that I wasn't, that I thought everyone else wanted me to be. And it's so fucking incongruent, and it just eats at you. Like, you know, that anxious feeling of like telling someone to do something that you can't even do yourself. You feel like a piece of shit when you're doing that. And that negative feeling, it just eats at you and makes you worse and worse and worse and worse as a human. And so for us as people who are helping other people with their health, and we're gym owners, and we're leaders, and we're people who are leading and guiding other people through this really fucking important area of our life, we need to make sure that we're totally 100% congruent. And whenever we look in the mirror at the end of the day, you say, fuck yeah, I know who I am. I'm a good person. I'm congruent. Every single thing that I'm preaching, I'm practicing. And I'm doing this, and I'm leading by example. That's probably the most important thing. And if we go after that, then following on from that is knowing what we actually want in life. What do we actually want to do? What's most important to us? Are we maintaining our health really well? Are we maintaining our business and our wealth and our career really well? Are we doing that? Are we making money in the way that we want to make money? And then the third thing after that is going through and looking at, you know, our relationships and how we socially with our partners, kids, all that sort of stuff. And then finally comes in the spiritual aspect. We won't go too deep into that today.
Yeah. I think one of the really amazing things you do is what I found, and I'm not sure if this is common in a lot of your clients, is when I got really happy with my health and fitness side of things, and then James and I work a lot on relationships, emotions, and stuff like that, is my business actually grew 10 times faster, right? And do you find that a lot with your clients, where that if they get congruent, everything's going well in stuff outside of business, that often their business just absolutely blows up really quickly?
Every time. Here's the thing, right? If you can get all the best business tactics in the world that you want, you can get all of the coolest tactics. They can tell you exactly what's going to be what you're going to need to do to crush it. But in the end of the day, if you can't implement and execute on those tactics, then you're not going to do shit. We know some people who have done business coaching course after business coaching course, and they're still not any better. And if you look at any business coaching course, right, the average statistic is like 80% of people don't make their money back on business coaching courses, 20% do. So what's the difference between those two? Sure, most courses might be shit, granted, like most courses are fucking terrible, but there's like 10 to 20% of people who are going to fucking dominate no matter what. They will always just crush it every single time. Why is that? And why is it that 80% to 90% will just fail every single time? And it's up here. You talk to the people who are in the top 10 to 20%. They're very different to the people who are in the bottom 80 to 90%, right?
Yep. Mate, it's probably a topic for another podcast. I was talking to two people about that yesterday. Why can you have same course, same mentors? Some people make 100 times the return on investment, and others, you know, kind of drop out after a 2 weeks, a month. But mate, I want to go into this congruency a little bit more, just to give people good value. So how would someone firstly identify what congruency is to them within their life, so they know that they're acting upon it?
Yeah. The fucking awesome question, man. The first thing is finding out what's actually important to you. What are the things in your life that you really genuinely care about? The biggest example of incongruency is money. When it comes down to money and finances, everyone wants to make more money, right? Here's the thing with making more money. No one actually gives a shit about it, because what do you do with money? You just go around and peacock it, show everyone how big your dick is, buy a new car, buy a bigger house, do all that sort of stuff. And then at the end of it, you're still not fucking happy. Like I see this all the time. And I mean, it's not like this is groundbreaking. Everyone's known this for ages. The key to life is not money or material goods. It's actually doing the things that are important to you. But we get into this trap that we need to be successful. We need to be successful. Fuck, let's define successful, by the way. You know, we need to have all this money and all this shit that we're going to use. When in reality, if you go through and if you want to really find out what's important to you, imagine yourself at 90, right? You're 90, you've got tubes up your ass, tubes down your genitals, tubes down your throat, you stink like shit, you're wrinkly, your kidneys, your liver, everything's about to just pack it in, and you've got your final few moments. What is it that you're going to look back and what are you going to think of? Are you going to think of, fuck, I wish I made an extra $100. I just wish I had an extra $100 or an extra 1,000. I wish my house was 600 square meters instead of 500. Are you going to really care about that? Are you going to look back on driving your, Mustang or your Lambo or whatever it is that you want to drive? Probably not. You're going to look back on the time with your friends. You're going to look back on the time with your family. You're going to look back on the time with your kids. And you're going to look back on your time of all the people that you served and all the people that you helped. Those are the things that are generally going to come up as being most common. In fact, after having asked that question to hundreds, if not thousands of people, probably hundreds, it's like no one has ever said if they're on their deathbed right now, they'd want to make more money. Right? They want to have more money. Everyone said, if I was on my deathbed right now, I just want to be with my family, my friends, and I wanted to enjoy those last moments with them. And so with that, how the congruence bit comes in and how to know that we're actually living our life well is, are we actually living life by our standards and by what is really important to us, or are we living it by an expectation that we've placed upon ourselves to be wealthy or to do this and to do that? And by the way, I'm super not against material wealth. I've made a shitload of money in my time. And still am continuing to do so, and more every single year. But I like to do it in a way where I keep all the things that are really, truly most important to me. And I know that if I died tomorrow, I'd be sweet with it. Cool. I'm dying. That's cool. I've lived an amazing life, and every single moment of my day has been spent really, really well.
Yeah. And I think, money's a byproduct of how many people you help, but looking at from both like a friend to you as well, is you haven't sacrificed amazing memories. Like you're always doing things and connecting with people. And I know you have an amazing relationship with your now fiance. Congratulations on that. And, money is a byproduct of that, but it's always a really good question. Charlie actually asked me goes, what would you do with this extra money? Because it's always time versus money. And I was like, kind of wouldn't do anything with it. So it's like, let's focus on those memories and those connections. And I think there was a study, and you might know this a bit better, but it was from Harvard, where they tracked people over like 70, 80 years on how happy they were. And it was the connections and the people in their life. It wasn't the amount of money they had. I think there was some presidents and stuff. I'll have to maybe find that and post it in the comments. And mate, just finally, I think we've definitely got a follow-up episode if you're ever open to it. But just say with someone at the moment, they're a business owner, they wake up, they look in the mirror, and they're not happy with how they see. They've got all those negative thoughts, anxiety, stress, all that stuff. If you could just give them 1 to 2 pieces of actionable things that they could implement today to just move that little bit forward, because it's about getting that 1% better every day, what would you say to them if you were talking to them right now?
Go out, find someone who knows how to fix the problem, and then pay them money. People pay you money to fix their problems, all right? Don't be a fucking hypocrite. Be congruent. You expect every single coach should have a fucking coach. I have like 7 different coaches, okay? Everyone is good. How many mentors do you have at the moment?
5,
right? Everyone who's any good has more. And most of the time when you find people who are anxious, depressed, or not happy with where they're at, generally don't have anyone fucking guiding them. We're humans, we're social animals, we're meant to be led, particularly men and women, right? I have a big emphasis upon men, so I can definitely say particularly for men, we just need to be led. Same goes for women though, really. Go out, find a mentor that you want to learn from, pay them whatever the fuck you need to pay them, be better, all right? Then the second thing after that is learning and service. If you make sure that every single day you're learning, right, generally from your mentor, and then what you learn from that, you serve and you help other people be better, you're going to be fucking wrapped, right? Whether you're broke, whether you're loaded, it doesn't matter. But the funny thing is, when you start focusing on those two things, on making you better by learning more and then serving the people who need your help better, you end up making a fuckload more money anyway. So stop worrying about money, focus on learning and service, getting a mentor, finding someone who's actually going to help you out. That's the way that you're going to get a mentor. Well, fuck, it's worked for me. It's worked for how many people I've worked with now.
Yeah, this leverage off other people's knowledge. James, where would be the best place for people to find you, maybe to connect and say hello?
The best place is going to be on Facebook. We're over there on
Okay.
Facebook, or if you're not on Facebook, on Instagram, just type in James Cant. And even just by typing in that, my ads are going to pick you up and you're going to see all my stuff anyway, relentless for the next however long. So yeah, just find me on there. And if you want to jump in, you want to learn more about what we do, we have a Facebook group. We have a whole heap of information. Just shoot me a message. Literally type in James Cant, C-A-N-T. It's the C word with an A instead of a U. Pretty easy to remember. And you can just drop me a dime there. I'm always happy to chat with you guys.
Awesome. And guys, if you ever can't find it, just message me and I can connect you with James's pages. I must admit, James's Instagram and also his TikTok is fire. Like, you probably should charge for that. The content that he delivers every day, it's one of the only social media accounts that I actively look at. And guys, I'll happily say this for James, like, it would be a privilege for you to be able to work with the whole JCF community for 12 months. James's knowledge on sleep, stress, mindset, training, all this stuff, there's no one better in the whole world. So if you're ever thinking of finding a coach, if you're struggling with this stuff, like, I can vouch for James and the whole JCF team. I know how well they are trained and they're all absolutely phenomenal. So, buddy, thank you so much for jumping on today. I really, really appreciate it. I know you're a busy guy. And guys, if you have any feedback or anything, send me a message on Instagram. And if you'd like us to have James back on, just let me know as well. I think by the comments, looks like a lot of people are absolutely loving it, buddy. So thank you so much.
It's cool, man. One thing as well, I'll give you guys, I talked about the summit. I think that's really fucking important. Everyone needs to know that. We made a whole page talking about that. I'll give you access to it so you guys can all take a peek.
Okay,
Which
perfect.
tells you how to map that out. I think it's really important. Everyone needs to do that.
Perfect. Thank you so much, buddy.
My pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.